Good evening. Welcome to the Planning Board meeting of Tuesday, August 7th, 2018. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, with the exception of the alternates, it looks like we have a full board this evening, so I don't think we have to appoint any alternates tonight. I'll do the roll call of members. Michael Proto, Chair.
Joe Blanchett, Clerk.
Stephen Weber, Selectman's Rep.
Dennis Page, Member.
Kimberly Queen, Vice Chair.
Tyler Perrin, Member.
Okay. And let's see. Before we get started this evening, I'd like to open up the floor to any non-agenda items that are not on the agenda for this evening, to public input. Does anybody from the public wish to speak to the board regarding anything regarding non-agenda items? Hearing none, I will close public input and we'll proceed with the first order of business this evening. Number one, an application from Richard Jefferson, trustee at 281 Charles Bancroft Highway, tax map 12, lot 27, for a subdivision of one lot into 3 residential lots. The application was accepted by this board on June 19, 2018. It was continued to a date and time certain for tonight. Is the applicant present? Would you folks like to come up to the table and introduce yourselves to the board, a name, address?
Richard Jefferson, 281 Charles Bancroft Highway, Litchfield.
Okay. Greg Jeffrey Land Survey, 1 Burgess Drive, Litchfield, New Hampshire.
Okay.
Is the board working today? Is the TV? I'm sorry.
TV.
I mean, I have a easel stand if you want, but it was so handy last time.
We're able to get in.
I think the next two I can do it, but I don't think I have an issue with that.
Connect.
Well, I don't know how we did it last time.
That should have it, no?
No,
It's got a display port. They changed in the 4 series.
if not, I can just do it. I brought a board.
Okay, that's fine.
Do you all have the PDF of the project from the last time?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Having said that, also, have you been forwarded the PDFs of the plan that was done by TF Moran for the proposed driveway?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And inclusive in that would be the letter from the engineers at TF Moran.
Have 2 letters, one from TF Moran and one from Luke Herron, who's the town engineer. Just before we proceed, my understanding was that you had decided to request only for 2 lots, and then you went back to 3 today?
Yeah, there was some indecisiveness concerning number of lots, but we're staying with what was in
the original.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And I believe you should have that PDF.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, it's my understanding that the last time you were here, we did the application for completeness. We granted some of the waivers, not all of them were granted due to the fact that there were certain issues with drainage, erosion, and stormwater. And I don't know, have you folks are supposed to go before the ZBA tomorrow? Is that my understanding?
Tomorrow, but that's concerning the
special
location,
exception?
The special exception, not the drainage.
Okay, all right. So that has not been completed then. That is still in the
Right.
works.
The petitioner would request that would be in the order of conditions.
Because I know we had talked about that last time. Jay, I know that we had discussed last time that we were going to hold off until the zoning board made a decision. I'm just not sure. I think we could technically tonight do a conditional approval with the zoning board. I just want your thoughts on it, because I know that last time we talked, we kind of wanted to have the zoning issue resolved before we move forward. And if this is the same plan that we've had before.
I think ideally we would have the zoning board action beforehand. In this case, we did continue to this evening. They weren't able to get on the last agenda.
Right.
I think that you could approve it conditional to ZBA approval.
Okay.
If the ZBA's approval resulted in a change to the plan, then we would have to bring it back to the board for either a compliance hearing or a revised plan.
Okay.
But you could approve it conditionally.
Okay. So basically, we could do it conditionally, as Jay said. You may have to come back
Right.
in case they approve it, and then for final review.
Right. We've already gone to the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
Same thing. And
And what did the Conservation Commission have any issues, or
I don't believe, I didn't get any feedback. I'll defer to Joan on that one.
Joan, did
I
you?
could send a letter to the CPA that the conservation didn't have a problem with the driveway in the buffer of the wetland.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Well, certainly, any questions from the board, or I should say, before you even do that, is there anything you'd like to add this evening before we go forward?
Well, I
Anything
think,
that-
right, I think in fairness to the board, I know you have the PDFs and you had a chance to look at them, but the Daltons are present. I don't know if they've been able to, see the plans, but I'd just like to just go over what we talked about, the drainage.
Okay,
The last time.
that's fine.
And then we can go over the letters from the two engineers.
Mhm.
But I think in all fairness, I think we should go over that.
Okay.
All right. As a result of, I don't know how. So what I'll do is I'll hand the Dalton some. These are some reduced copies. So
Thank you.
this is the plan that was produced as a result of the request for a detailed drainage study. And what we're looking for is a solution. And what the Daltons were concerned about, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what we talked about last time. They were concerned that it would be, because of the amount of impervious, that the water would migrate northward, even though that the contours show it going southward. So we contacted TF Moran. We did a detailed drainage study. That included a grass interceptor swale and 2 culverts. And so if
Can you explain what a grass interceptor swale
Oh,
does? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be
no, I'm sorry. If I
ignorant, I guess is the word, but no, I
what
just.
it is, If water, let's say, is going down a hill, which it tends to do, it'll go until it's stopped, until it's intercepted. And then it'll seek its lowest level. So if it's going down and you build a swale, it's going to go in that swale. The swale is sort of a trough. It's going to go and it's going to find the lowest point along that swale. And at the end of the swale is a culvert right here. And any water that may or may not gather right there is intercepted by this culvert. And it just goes where the contours bring it, which is this naturally occurring wetlands right here. And we talked about that last time we were here. So I think it's elegant in its simplicity that any kind of impervious that's introduced right here is collected right here, and it's just brought right into the wetlands. I don't want to bore you with details, but you can take a look at the comment letter by the engineer from TF Moran, and you can also take a look at the comment letter by the town, the Lou Karen, who reviewed the plan.
Okay.
And if you have any questions.
Okay. Well, what I can do for the public this evening, I will read the letter from Robert Duval to Mr. Jefferson, the owner, from TF Moran. And also I have an email from Lou Karen, who is the town engineer, and what his findings were. We'll start with the TF Moran letter. This is dated June 29, 2018, to Richard Jefferson from Robert Duval, professional engineer, for proposed subdivision map 12 lot 27 Charles Bancroft Highway. The subject line states drainage review for subdivision. TFM performed a review of the proposed subdivision of map 12 lot 27 at 281 Charles Bancroft Highway, prepared by Jeffrey Land Survey, LLC. The purpose of our review was to review the placement of the proposed house and driveway on the subject lot to determine if the development of that house lot would affect drainage on the abutting property to the north, map 12, lot 30. There is an existing path on lot 27 that is the divide that separates the drainage areas and directs existing runoff to the north and south of the path. With the proposed layout, there is a portion of the house and driveway that will be within the drainage area north of the path. This development would be a minor change to stormwater runoff. However, to mitigate the runoff from the proposed house and driveway, we would recommend a grass interceptor swale be installed between the development and the northern abutting property. See attached plan prepared by TF Moran. The swale will collect the runoff from the developed area and convey the stormwater to a driveway culvert that flows south away from the northern abutter and discharges to the wetlands on site. The existing wet area is sloped to discharge any collected water to the south. With the recommended grass interceptor swale and driveway culverts, there will be a reduction in the drainage area and runoff of the abutting lot, map 12, lot 30 to the north. Please contact me if you have any questions. Robert Duval, Chief Engineer. Okay, and the email from Lou Karen, the town engineer. As you requested, I reviewed the plan to add a couple of driveway culverts under the proposed driveway to allow stormwater runoff to drain southerly as it now does in its natural setting. On July 13th, I visited the site and walked along the proposed drive for about 300 feet. I did not observe any natural streams or drainage swales, but rather dense vegetative cover. That being said, I believe the addition to the drive culverts should allow natural drainage flows to be maintained, although there will be some concentrated flows at the culvert outlets as compared to existing sheet flows. Given the flat topography in the area, I do not expect this to be a problem. And that is from Lou Karen, Professional Engineer, LC Engineering Company, LLC. That was dated July 23rd, 2018, that email. So that's basically for the record, just to put that on the record. Okay. Does the board have any questions for the applicant?
Do the culverts require any maintenance?
They're pretty good size, as you can see on there, they're pretty good size culverts.
15-inch, I think it was.
15-inch high density polyethylene. Yeah, so it's a good size culvert. It's like any culvert that you would see under a driveway. So.
Good.
I mean, quite frankly, I think 15 inches is a little overbuild, but. Yeah.
Jay, do you have anything to add?
I don't know, it does seem as though the drainage issue has been adequately addressed. Luke Herron did go out, reviewed it, also seemed to feel that there wasn't a significant issue, but that the swale would take care of it. I had a few other comments, my staff review, a few other items that I think need to be added to the plan, other than the, potentially a condition for the ZBA approval. I'm satisfied.
Okay. If the board doesn't have any other questions, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to open it up to public comment. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak or have questions? Yes, sir. Please state your name and your address, please.
I'm fine with it as long as they keep the water going their way. If they're dumping it into the wetlands, that's fine. That's as long as the water's staying that way, I'm fine with it. But do you guys remember when they put stagecoach in? That water's going to that library.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe one ask the librarians put their life jackets on, the water's heading their way. You got 2 pipes. I mean, that's 2 pipes heading their way with water in it. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, as long as it heads their way, I don't care. But I mean, when they put stagecoach in, you can look back. They had a problem, and the water goes to the library. That's where it goes. But if they got it, and as long as somebody's gonna look over it and watch over it, you guys don't have Kevin anymore. Who's the building inspector now?
Well, I think that.
Who am I gonna call if it don't work the right way?
Yeah, that's remains to be determined right now, unfortunately.
Maybe I should rephrase that.
Yeah.
Who's my lawyer gonna call if it don't work that way?
Well.
As long as the water's going that way, I have no problem.
Okay. Anything else from the public? Okay. At this time, I will close public comment on this issue. I'm going to bring it back to the board. What is the will of the board? As I said, we have 2 waiver requests that still need to be either allowed or denied. There is a zoning board hearing tomorrow with regard to the special exception. We can make that a condition of approval. If we have to do a meeting for compliance, we can do that as well. Your thoughts, you guys? You comfortable with the report? Anything?
Given the engineer's comments, I'm pretty comfortable with it.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with the engineering recommendations. If the ZBA does make you do a stormwater drainage, it sounds like there's a maintenance piece in there anyway you would have to provide for, which would answer
Right.
Mr. Dalton's questions, right?
When we were last here, we requested, one of our waiver requests was for the stormwater drainage, and I don't have that in front of me because the reason it was initially because instead of doing, I wish we had that there. This parcel is 38 acres. Okay, instead of doing a drainage report on 38 acres, we requested that we just do, that's for larger projects, with a lot of runoff, major roads, drainage structures, lots of impervious and things like that. so that we requested that we wouldn't have to do a drainage study on the entire 38 acres out to Albuquerque. That would be, it would be for another project. In lieu of that, we discussed having a drainage study done in this area, that whatever is disturbed in this area, which, this is from the TF Moran report, what's in this area will drain south. That was the waiver request that was requested. And they held off on that because they thought it was part and parcel with the, with this drainage study.
Yeah, I agree with all that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if the zoning board found something glaring, they would force them to do this. And that would has a maintenance piece to it, which would help
Right.
with Mr. Dolphin. So I'm happy with the way it is.
Right. And I wish I brought it with
Something
me, but
is
that was
found
dealt with the last time.
Tomorrow, that piece would be there for them.
I know, Jay, you had mentioned something about the septic system. Did you have a concern about that?
Just that one of my notes was that the existing septic system and well should be shown on the plan. We just want to make sure that as a result of the subdivision, it doesn't wind up on another lot.
Oh, yeah. Certainly.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
This is like hail weather.
Okay.
Are they okay with number one of Jay's
Well,
recommendations?
I was just going to say, I know that you were changing your plan and then you went back to the original, and I don't know if that was changed in the condition of approval. There's the note stating that no development is proposed for remainder of lot 27-2.
The remainder lot, the large remainder
Remainder
lot.
lot. I just want to make sure. Was that something that you would for something else, or?
I don't know if that would. See, my thoughts on that is it's, whatever, future considerations the applicant has on it, I just don't see how this 2-lot subdivision bears on that, because it has frontage, it does have frontage in Albuquerque.
The suggestion was just that a note be added that no development was proposed at this time.
Oh,
And the reason
on
for
the
that
plan.
is because you're not showing
Yeah,
septic,
yeah.
you're not
Oh,
showing.
okay.
So that
I
we're
misunderstood.
clarified.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Let's see. Okay. Well, if I don't hear any other questions, we can take a vote if we want to approve this conditionally. I think one of the conditions obviously being that, the special exception, if it is allowed, that they would have to come back for a compliance review at some date and time certain. I think it would be conditioned on the ZBA approval of the special exception, obviously.
Would that delay the recording of the plan? Or
ZBA meets, you're going tomorrow.
It's
correct?
tomorrow.
it's actually done because of the 4th of July sort of,
Right.
Yeah.
gave a hiccup to, the cart
So
before the
it shouldn't
horse.
delay anything. The compliance here would be necessary if the ZBA as action results in the change to the
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
So other than that, that shouldn't be an issue.
Understood.
Okay. All right. So if that's the case, I would, like I said, from the board, if you don't have any other questions, I could entertain a motion to conditionally approve this project. And we can conditionally approve the waivers, that are still outstanding are 30.00K and M sections 30.00K and M and section 150.00Q from the subdivision regulations. So I guess the first thing would be if you want to approve, so let me back up a minute. If you're looking to do a motion, you probably want to start with a motion to approve those waivers and the condition as to the special exception. And then from there, if you wanted to approve the application on other conditions, we can do that. So, but I think we'll deal with the waivers first.
I'll do it. I don't know if I'm going to say it right, but I'll make a motion
Go
to
for it.
conditionally approve this application.
The waivers?
For the waivers 30.00K and M
Mhm.
and 150.00Q for drainage plan, erosion control plan, and stormwater drainage plan.
Okay.
Also, the ZBA or for ZBA approval for special exceptions. And would you like me to read out J's 4 requirements as well?
Well, yeah, but what I would add to the ZBA approval is if the ZBA requires a change in the plan, that the applicant would be required to come back for a compliance hearing before the board.
Okay, so I'll add that if the ZBA comes back and there is a change to it, that it comes back before the board for us to.
If they have to make a change in the plan. That's if you have to make a change in the plan. If you don't have to make a change in the plan, you don't have to worry about that. The condition is, but if there are changes that have to be made, then you would have to come back. Also that the existing septic system be shown on the plan. I think that's another condition.
In well.
In the well, yeah.
And the well.
And they were supposed to put a note stating that there's no development is proposed for the remainder lot 27-2
At this time.
at this time.
At this time.
Yeah, that's key, at this time.
All right.
They also wanted to add a note referencing special exception for the construction of a driveway within the Wetlands Conservation District with date approval.
Constitute buffer, yeah.
Right, that would be the zoning and, right. Okay. I have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any discussion? All those signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, abstained, motion passes 6-0-0. Okay. All right. And as to the remaining conditions of approval, the applicant has plan copies with professional seals and signatures, the original Mylar with professional seals and signatures, electronic submission per regulations as built as required. All fees are paid and escrow maintained as required. Changes to plat is detailed in the minutes and this report. You have the state permits, the curb cuts, the subdivision subsurface septic. That is condition of approval. I entertain a motion to approve those for this project.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Abstained? Motion passes 6-0-0. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
very good. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for information.
So we vote on a drainage study.
It's my luck.
Like when the thunder strikes when you ask for discussion. That's
I didn't like that. Okay.
That might have actually improved the situation.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Cleaning crew takes it away.
Yeah.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
The second item of business on for this evening, number 2, an application for a site plan amendment. Tax map 21 lot 23, 27 Colby Road, Romano's Pizza LLC. Applicant seeking an amendment to allow outside music to be played in the patio area. Good evening. You can introduce yourself to the board.
My name is William Keith Vessels. I am from Romano's Pizza, 27 Colby Road, Litchfield, New Hampshire.
Good evening.
And here regarding a violation of my site plan approval.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at this? Okay. Apparently there was a violation of the plan. There was a letter from June 20th, 2018. And looks like your original plan, apparently you weren't, and forgive me, you weren't, there was not to be any, it was, there wasn't going to be anything played outside of the building.
I disagree with that.
Well, whether you disagree or not, there was my understanding was there was a plan, the original site plan. Now I'm talking about the one that you're looking to amend, but the original site plan, there was a memorandum of understanding that was signed by the parties. I have that here, matter of Romano's Pizza site plan application, Litchfield Planning Board. And it says Romano's Pizza and abutters Brown and Frizella. And there were several counts. Number, let me see, how is this divided? So, okay, so the waivers, 6, strange. On page 2, number 3, lists noise, playing of music, whether live or recorded, is permitted in Romano's buildings only, including in the building addition proposed and shown in its proposed site plan. Noise from inside Romano's buildings at 23 Colby Road, including music, whether live or recorded, shall not reach or be heard on the abutter's property. Romano shall prohibit its employees while at 23 Colby Road from playing radios and stereos outside of Romano's buildings or while on Morgan Road. Romano shall take reasonable steps to prohibit the loud playing of radios and stereos at 23 Colby Road by its customers and invitees, including delivery people. And that was signed on March 28, 2004. Romano's Pizza LLC. And Samantha Frizzell, Kenneth Brown, Adele Frizzell Brown. I believe William Vessels, is that?
Yes,
that would be you. Okay, that's key. Okay. All right. So, do we have a plan before us this evening to amend this, or how are you looking to proceed? I guess that's the question.
That's one of my questions. Is if you review the plan, there is nothing to amend. There's what you're reading is a private agreement between myself and an abutter. That was not a condition of approval. That was not. I'm sorry. Do you have a copy of the plan, Joan? If we do need it, okay. I have like small copies, but
okay.
I was never granted a conditional approval. That was just a private agreement between myself and an abutter, which, not to mention at this point, would be moot anyway, as they are no longer abutters.
Okay.
I don't even know how that ended up being a violation. It's not that language that you just quoted is not on the plan anywhere. So that's why I'm curious as to why I'm here. I'm here to take language off a plan that isn't on the plan. So I know what I want to do, and I'm willing to go like, the path of least resistance. But I'm somewhat unclear on what the violation really is.
Mike?
Yeah.